Hey, everybody. Am I coming in loud and clear? Can everybody hear me all right? So you can hear that. Let me turn off these notifications. Or at least mute them. All right, there we go. Yay! All right, you hear me. Welcome to the good old-fashioned ghetto stream, because, until we have the memory that this is going to help me get probably next week. I'm aiming for next week, because if it's a full paycheck next week, then I'm going to go over to Diz's house. He's going to help me order the memory for this thing. We're going to put the memory in the laptop. We're going to buy the Ethernet cable. And yay, I remember the name of the damn cable because I keep forgetting. Now the Nazis can hear you. So we can go ahead and go from ghetto streams to the OBS stuff again. Because, we got to get the morning brew going again, right? Everybody's waiting for the morning brew to come back. Of course, when it does come back, it's going to come back on Twitch, seeing how I'm still an affiliate there. And then the edited streams are going to be on here like they used to be. So, starting off with the news, obviously, we have Mr. Bolton here saying U.S. deploying carrier bombers to Middle East to deter Iran. And this is out of Reuters, Washington. So let's see how many stupid things we can find in this article. Let me see. No, I've never had a problem with Twitch, Gerbil. Never. I have never had a problem with Twitch. As a matter of fact, I made more money in less time on Twitch than I ever did on YouTube, if you're going to go by money-wise. But I've never gotten dinged. I've never had any complaints from anybody on Twitch. Nothing. So, yeah. The Trump administration is deploying a carrier strike group and bombers to the Middle East in response to troubling, quote-unquote, indications and warnings from Iran, and to show the United States will retaliate with, quote-unquote, unrelenting force to any attack, National Security Advisor John Bolton said on Sunday. With tensions already high between Washington and Tehran, a U.S. official and the deployment has been ordered as a deterrence to what has been seen as potential preparations by Iranian forces and its proxies that may indicate possible attacks on U.S. forces in the region. It does sound that way, doesn't he? However, the official, speaking on condition of anonymity, said the United States was not expecting any imminent Iranian attack. So a preemptive condition for a non-attack? That doesn't make any sense. Bolton, who has spearheaded an increasingly hawkish U.S. policy on Iran, said the decision, which could exacerbate problems between two countries, was meant to send a clear and unmistakable message of U.S. resolve to Tehran. Though he cited no specific Iranian activities that have raised new concerns, Iran has recently warned it would block the Strait of Hormuz if it was barred from using the strategic waterway. About a fifth of the oil consumed globally passes through the strait. The United States is not seeking war with the Iranian regime, but we are fully prepared to respond to any attack, whether by proxy, the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, or regular Iranian forces, Bolton said in a statement. It's okay, you're not seeking war. There hasn't been any acts of aggression that we can consider that would be against the United States, but you're sending stuff over there for no specific reason. None whatsoever. At all, according to this article. Let's see if I can find a couple more articles on it. It marked the last in a series of moves by President Donald Trump's administration aimed at ratcheting up pressure on Iran in recent months. Washington said it will stop waivers for countries buying Iranian oil in an attempt to reduce Iran's oil exports to zero. So it's trying to, okay. It has also blacklisted Iran's elite Revolutionary Guard Corps, taking the unprecedented step of designating it as a foreign terrorist organization. Wow. Wow. Which Iran has cast as an American provocation. I kind of would call it a provocation as well. So you're basically saying their elite guard corps is the same thing as ISIS and Al Qaeda. Oh, wow, that's pretty harsh. That is pretty harsh. I don't know if I'd go that far. I mean, however you hate a country, they need their own defense force. Let me see here. Unrelenting force. The Trump administration's efforts to impose political economic isolation on Tehran began last year when it unilaterally withdrew from the nuclear deal. Yeah, it did that. It was a shitty deal anyway. And other world powers negotiated with Iran in 2015. The United States is deploying the USS Abraham Lincoln, Carrier Strike Group, and a bomber task force to the U.S. Central Command region to send a clear and unmistakable message to the Iranian regime that any attack on United States interests or on those of our allies will be met with unrelenting force, Bolton said. Okay, so we're watching it. We're sending this stuff. We're going to sit it over here. We're not going to do anything. We're not sending it over there for any reason, but we're watching you. We're watching you. Okay. Bolton did not provide any further details. Okay, because he didn't want to, or because a lot of it's classified, top secret. I would like to know why, because we're over there for no particular reason, which I think is a waste of resources. A U.S. Navy statement issued early last month that the aircraft carrier and its accompanying convoy of ships had steamed out of Norfolk, Virginia on the 1st of April for a regularly scheduled deployment, but it did not give any destination at the time. So you sent it out, but without any destination last month, and now we know where you're at. But you're there for no reason. This makes no sense. I know we hate Iran, okay? I know we have problems with Iran. I get it. But why are you going to antagonize them? They don't like us. We don't like them all that much. Okay. But you're going to do this to antagonize them. Right. Got it. While it is not rare for the United States to have aircraft carriers in the Middle East, Bolton's language could increase tensions. You don't say. The threat late last month from the IRGC to close the Strait of Hormuz followed a U.S. announcement that it would end exemptions granted last year to 8 buyers of Iranian oil. Hi, Sora! And demanding they stop purchases by May 1st or face sanctions. Anything in the Middle East is related to the Suez Canal. Yeah, pretty much. European governments have opposed Washington's reinstatement of sanctions on Iran. Of course they would. A senior Trump administration official said at the time that any aggressive move by Iran in the Strait would be unjustified and unacceptable. Iran has made threats to block the waterway in the past without acting on them. So they're threatening something that according to Reuters, they haven't acted upon. And I say according to Reuters because this is an impromptu thing here. So we're going to paste that. We're going to put that in there, and we're going to see if we can find any other news sources that'll say the same thing. That's not CNBC. Let's see. Iran. All right, here's something we're going to look at Al Jazeera. Yeah. Let's see what Al Jazeera says. And let's see. United States, 9 hours ago, scrolling down. It doesn't say anything about the Reuters thing. So we're going to see what Al Jazeera has to say, and then we're going to come up here, and we're going to do one of the Israeli papers. And we're going to see what these guys have to say, because I like to compare these things. U.S. National Security Advisor says move is in response to a number of troubling and escalatory indications and warnings. What? Okay, wait. Let me go back to the original Reuters article, because something already is different. Something is already different. All right, indications and warnings. from Iran to show the United States will retaliate with unrelenting force. Okay, so we have indications and warnings. And then here we go. A number of troubling escalatory indications and warnings. So now we're expanding on these indications and warnings. I like how when you go from one source to another, they're wording it differently, and it looks like this is more of a quote than those two. I hate two-word quotes. They always get on my nerves. The United States is deploying a carrier strike group and a bomber task force to the Middle East to send a clear message to Iran that any attack on U.S. interests or its allies will be met with unrelenting force. It's the same thing as the last one. Amid rising tensions between Washington and Tehran, U.S. National Security Advisor John Bolton said on Sunday that the deployment of the USS Abraham Lincoln Carrier Strike Group to the U.S. Central Command region was a response to a number of troubling and escalatory indications and warnings. Okay, so we're going to come back over here and we're going to see. Let's see. Ordered as a deterrence. See, this says as a deterrence to what has been seen as potential preparations by Iranian forces and its proxies that may indicate possible attacks on forces in the region. This is more specific, in my opinion, than that. So I don't get it. The United States is not seeking war with Iran. That's what the first source said. So we know they probably pulled most of this from Reuters. With the Iranian regime, but we are fully prepared to respond to any attack, whether by proxy, the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, or regular Iranian forces, Bolt said in a statement. Al Jazeera's Gabriel Elizondo, reporting from Washington, D.C., said the move was an unusual one, especially because of the statement by Bolton. There are more questions than answers in that short statement, he said. No shit. It is not unusual for aircraft carriers to be deployed to the Middle East to be a deterrent to Iran. But what makes this different is Bolton is putting out a statement specifying Iran. It's almost a provocation. Yeah, they're singling them out for something, but they're not being specific as to what they're singling them out for. Because even though, they're giving you what? Okay. You put F in the chat. I'm thinking I am no longer online. Crap, that screwed me up. Can you guys? Yeah, okay, I'm still alive. Okay. Yeah, because, to me, you have, this phrase here, as a deterrence to what has been seen as potential preparations by Iranian forces and its proxy that may indicate possible attack, I hate this shit, may indicate possible attacks. That's like saying there's a good possibility that you may be pregnant. Or you might be driving on the wrong side of the road. May indicate possible attacks. I need definites here, and I'm not getting any. And this is to a number of troubling escalatory indications and warnings. Why aren't you telling us what the warnings are? What you perceive as escalations? You're not seeking war with the Iranian regime, but you're pointing them out. Yeah, that's unusual for the U.S. to do that when they deploy big military assets like this. Yeah, they're singling out one particular they're doing it in Iran. Did you know you could be even a little bit pregnant yet? Just a little bit. Not enough social notice, y'all. Just a little bit. Washington said it will stop waivers for countries buying Iranian oil in an attempt to reduce Iran's oil exports to zero. It has also blacklisted Iran's elite Evolutionary Guard Corps. Okay, this one says blacklisted. And so far, because I haven't finished reading the article, it hasn't said what this article has said. When this article said that it has labeled it a terrorist group. Where's that again? Let me see here. Strike group. Political affiliations. There it is. Foreign terrorist organizations. So here it says blacklisted Iran's elite Revolutionary Guard Corps, taking unprecedented step of designating it as a foreign terrorist organization. And so far, Al Jazeera has left that designation out of their article. So far, we haven't read the whole thing. They may add it close to the end. But here it seems that they're focusing more on the problem of the oil and the waivers and the embargoes and the sanctions and stuff. It said, in response, Iran, remember, you have to say Spanish because that's the proper pronunciation. Iran said it has mobilized all the resources to sell oil in a gray market. Amir Hossein Zamania. Wow, what a name. Iran's deputy oil minister told state media on Sunday that Iran would continue to export oil despite the U.S. sanctions, like sanctions ever do any good, which he said were neither just nor legitimate. We have mobilized all the country's resources and are selling oil in the gray market. State news agency IRNA quoted Zamaninias as saying, I think somebody's knocking on my door. I shall be back because I am expecting a delivery. So I will temporarily mute. All right, I am back. So in response, so now we're reading the response. All right, here we go. We certainly won't sell 2.5 million barrels per day as under the nuclear deal, he said. We will need to make serious decisions about our financial and economic management, and the government is working on that. Okay. The Trump administration efforts to impose political and economic isolation to Tehran began last year when it unilaterally was because we withdrew. Let's see here. Bolton, who has spearheaded an increasingly hawkish U.S. policy on Iran, did not provide any further details. Hey, Mad Dodge, how you doing? Welcome to the stream. A U.S. official said the forces have been ordered to the region as a deterrent to what has been seen as potential preparations by Iranian forces and its proxies that may indicate possible attacks on U.S. forces in the region. All these mays and possiblies, I swear to God, are driving me insane. So you're telling me that you can't, in a roundabout way, tell us that there is a declared war on Iran. You can't tell me if they are or aren't, but there's a good possibility that they might be. Is pretty much what you're telling me. There's a good possibility that they might be escalating, to get to possibly attack us, in the region. Possibly. Maybe. Oh, good Lord. Speculatory news stories always drive me insane. All right, U.S. deploying carrier bombers. This is Israel. We did declare the Revolutionary Guard as a terrorist organization, and they responded to our increased sanctions with the threat to close the Strait of... Yep, I've already read that. So far, both of those articles have pretty much said it. So what people are saying is, yes, I'm reporting on a news story, but I am looking at 2 or 3 different sources and comparing them to see, A, how they report it, B, how they spin it, and C, how many factoids are concurrent in between all the news stories. sort of kind of maybe showing you guys how I write my blog posts and come up with the scripts for my news shows. All right, so according to Israel Hayom, move comes in response to clear indications that Iranian proxy forces are preparing to possibly attack U.S. forces in the region. U.S. will retaliate with unrelenting force to any attack on U.S. interests or those of its allies, warns National Security Advisor Bolton. U.S. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo. Oh. Deployment separate from events in Israel. Okay, so out of the 3 sources we're looking at so far, this is the first time they have said anything about Pompeo. And I love how the subtitle, how the secondary title here is like an entire paragraph. Okay, the Trump administration is deploying a carrier strike group and bombers to the Middle East to clear indications, basically up here. And then they say they got their information from an American Defense Council told the Associated Press. So they're getting their information from the AP. Yep. News agencies and Israel Hayom staff. In other words, this isn't theirs exclusively. They got their shit from the Associated Press. The Defense Council, who spoke in condition of anonymity to discuss sensitive information. So we have a defense official who's speaking I hate it when people. Okay, either you're going to commit to telling us that shit's going down, or you're not going to commit. If you're not going to commit, don't fucking tell us. Let us find out on our own. If you're going to come up anonymously, to me, when you're saying who spoke on condition of anonymity, the big clue, yeah. But when you're telling me that your source is anonymous, and I know, you have rights as a journalist to keep your sources anonymous. An anonymous source to me is kind of iffy. It means take this with a grain of salt. But then again, we have 2 other articles that are telling us the same thing that you're telling us, except for the added information from the defense official, who shall remain unnamed. This is getting interesting. Okay, to discuss sensitive information, the media ruined anonymous sources. Yes, they did. Said the Pentagon approved the deployments and that the U.S. forces at sea and on land were thought to be the potential targets. All right, so now we're getting specifics. Pentagon approved the deployments and that U.S. forces at sea and on land were thought to be the potential targets. Okay, now we're getting some more meat to our potatoes here. The official declined to be more specific, so that's about as specific as our anonymous source is going to get. With tensions already high between Washington and Tehran, because we walked away from the deal, because it was a sucky-ass fucking deal. Another U.S. official said the deployment was ordered as a deterrence. And, we've already read that, so this is another thing that's concurrent across all 3 articles. However, the official speaking on condition of anonymity said the United States was not expecting any imminent Iranian attack. Good thing our space forces weren't threatened. Right, MC? Right. Just land and sea forces, nobody in outer space. Okay, so the anonymous source said the United States was not expecting any imminent Iranian attack, which means nothing's happening like 5 minutes ago. They're getting ready for what might be an attack, from what we understand from the other 2 sources. National Security Advisor John Bolton said the carrier deployment was also to show that the U.S. will retaliate, the unrelenting force thing, and the escalatory indications and warnings. Okay, we're going over there to flex, brah. We're going to flex, brah. You see our carrier group, brah. You see our bombers, brah. We got this, brah. We flexing, brah. You see these guns? We can use them, man. Cross this line, motherfucker. We got you. Speaking to reporters while flying to Europe, U.S. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo said the actions undertaken by the U.S. had been in the works for a while. Okay. It's absolutely the case that we have seen escalatory actions from the Iranians, and it is equally the case that we will hold the Iranians accountable for attack on American interests. Pompeo said. If these actions take place, if they do by some third-party proxy, a militia group, Hezbollah, we will hold the Iranian leadership directly accountable for that. So we're getting direct quotes from Pompeo. Asked about escalatory actions, Pompeo replied, I don't want to talk about what underlays it, but make no mistake, we have good reason to want to communicate clearly about how the Iranians should understand how we will respond to actions they may take. Okay. Asked if the Iranian action were related to deadly events in Gaza and Israel, Pompeo said it is separate from that. So it's not related to Gaza and Israel. All right. Bolton, who has spearheaded an increasingly hawkish U.S. policy on Iran, pisses on the border. And what are you doing? Yeah, marking our territory. It seems to be what we're doing, isn't it? It seems to be what we're doing. So it said, which could, yeah, of course it could exacerbate it. I mean, so the decision, which could exacerbate problems between the two countries, was meant to send a clear and unmistakable message of U.S. resolve to Tehran. Yeah, you start the fight, motherfucker, we're going to finish it. Though he cited no specific Iranian activities that have raised new concerns, Iran has recently warned it would block the Strait of Hormuz if it was barred from using the strategic waterway. About a fifth of the oil consumed globally passes through the strait. So I'm going to Google this and call up a map. So we're going to do this. And I have my computer hate me. All right, here we go. Strait of Hormuz. As I click on this son of a gun. And hope my Chrome doesn't freeze. Come on. You can do it. We can help. Oh. Apparently, I literally had to click on the map. Shh. All right, so here is, I don't want to know where any, thank you, Google Maps. All right, here is the Strait of Hormuz. Sharjah. We go this way. There's Shiraz. All right, here we go. Now we're getting a better idea. Okay, so here's the strait. Here's the Persian Gulf. Here's the Gulf of Oman. Here's Iran, Afghanistan, Pakistan, Saudi Arabia. There's Iraq and Europe. So this strait links the Persian Gulf to the Gulf of Oman. So if they were to go, no, you can't use it, that would fuck a lot of people over. Literally, it would fuck a lot of people over. I'm not, just from looking at this, because that strait is very strategically located. Wow. Mm-hmm. All right. And that's the strait they want to get control of. All right. So there it is. Real reason all this is happening is the U.S. Army is changing back to Class A brown uniform in the green. From the green. I can't handle brown uniforms. No, okay. If it was barred from using a strategic waterway, about a fifth of the oil consumed globally passes through the strait. So basically, if they were to take control of it and block it, that means we would have, another one of those fuel crises where, the gas would be astronomically high. The United States is not seeking war with the Iranian regime, but we are fully prepared to respond to any attack, whether by proxy, the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, or regular Iranian forces, said Bolton in a statement. Now I'm going to see. There it is. There it is. Same thing as the first source. It has also blacklisted Iran's Revolutionary Guard Corps, taking the unprecedented step of designating it as a foreign terrorist organization. Okay, 2 out of 3 sources have said we've designated the IRGC as a foreign terrorist organization. It's 2 out of the 3 sources that I have found so far that are reporting on this story. So that is the point where, when I'm writing my own blog post or a script for the news stuff, is when I actually put something like that in there, because that's 2 sources saying the exact same thing. Iran has cast that as an American provocation. Actually, you're supposed to say it Iran. And picture a camel with maracas and a sombrero. Thank you. I love you too, Gerbil. The Trump administration's efforts to impose political and economic isolation on Tehran began last year when it unilaterally, okay, we know about the withdrawal. The United States is deploying, we know about that. Okay, so that's concurrent against all, across all three sources is the carrier group, which is the USS Abraham Lincoln, and a bomber task force. So that is confirmed. 3 out of 3 sources are saying the same thing when it comes to the carrier strike group and the bomber task force. So I would put that into any blog post that I write as well. That's the way I do these things. Bolton did not provide any further details. That is also, hello, Sandy. That is also 3 for 3. U.S. Navy statement issued early last month said the aircraft carrier and its accompanying convoy ships had steamed out of Norfolk, Virginia on April 1st for a regularly scheduled deployment, but did not give any destination time. So that's 2 out of 3 articles that have said something to this effect as well. So that's interesting as well. So now we're going to take this headline. Now that we know where the strait is, we don't need to show the picture anymore. We're going to paste this. We're going to hit enter, and we're going to see if we can find another source. You notice how I'm skipping over the Wall Street Journal and CNN and CNBC? I'm trying to find sources that are in that direct area. Haven't seen that source before. We're going to take a look at it and vet it live. And I think that's another Israeli paper. Fox 40 IJR. What's IJR? Middle East I.C.net. .net. I don't know. All right. This is Turkey. Okay, this is Turkey. That's ER. Middle East news. Okay, so now we have 2 more sources coming out of the Middle East. Okay, U.S. deploying carrier to Middle East to deter Iran. See, this is what I mean when I tell you guys, when you're following me on Twitter, that I have 3, 4, 5 plus sources. So I want to make sure all these sources are consistent with what the actual, for lack of a better term, meat and potatoes of the news story actually is. Because I don't want to just take one source and go, okay, this is what happened. However, sometimes I'm forced to do that because all the different sources I find go right back to that first source that I found. And that first source, when that happens, is usually either the Associated Press or Reuters. Burka National News. And at one point, I was seriously considering seeing if I could afford a direct wire service in the house to do the news with, and Reuters sells direct wire services. However, I think their cheapest service was $700 a month, to which my wallet screamed and I passed out. Because that's a major ouch. Okay, so on May 5th, this was yesterday, we have deploying carrier strike group. Okay, again, we have another corroboration here. Indications and warnings, another corroboration. And then retaliate with unrelenting force. Okay, so far we've got the same thing as the other 3. Yep, we know tensions are already high. As a deterrence, okay, yep. An Iranian non-vet. Let's see here. Bolton, who has spearheaded, okay, this is this, that, and the other. So he cited no specific, okay, here we go again with the cited no specific activities. And this one says, has recently warned it would block the Strait of Hormuz. Come back over here where it says Hormuz. We're going to control F. Hormuz. Recently warned that it would block the Strait of Hormuz. Okay. We're going to wait for this thing to load because it's really hating me now that I got like 20 million tabs up. So now we're going to do enter. This one doesn't even have, okay, let me retype that. Hormuz. Okay, this one has no listings of Hormuz in it. Interesting. So, all right, that one doesn't mention Hormuz at all. So we have one source that does not even, there it is. It has recently warned. So that's 3 sources so far saying that they have warned. I think Rupley is live with it. I'll check it in a second, but the sound won't go through if it is because I don't have anything like audio router or anything like that on the laptop yet. So that's 3 sources that have said Iran has recently warned it would block the Strait of Hormuz. So that's 3 sources, three sources that are saying the same thing about that. Okay, and yep, a fifth of the oil, so that's another one. And that we're not seeking war with the regime. Okay. It marked the latest in a series of moves by President Donald Trump's administration. Okay, stop the waivers. All right, this is the 3rd one that says it'll stop waivers. Now we're over here. This is, I was right. This is another Israeli news source. So here is the group. Okay. Let's see. Troubling escalatory. Okay, here's the troubling escalatory indications and warnings. So we pretty much have the whole story. They got their shit from Reuters. Okay, hi Reuters, how you doing? That's when I stop looking at it and close out the tab because I have the actual Reuters story right chill. So I don't need to find somebody reiterating something from Reuters. All right, so we've got 4 sources that are basically corroborating the attack. And as Gerbil says that she thinks Rupley is live with it. So if you guys want to catch it live, there you go. The next thing slated in my little Evernote here, let me bring it up. Trump's prescription drug plan. How stupid is his drug plan? We're about to find out. This is Market Watch. Waiting for the page to load. I know you're hating me. Bear with me. Bear with me. Come on, you can do it. Come on, baby. You can load the page. All right, so here we go. Trump's prescription drug plan would add $177 billion in cost, budget office says. And Market Watch got this from the AP. So if I were to take that headline and Google it, AP would probably be one of the first 3 results. CBO says drug companies unlikely to reduce prices across the board. All right, the Trump administration's plan to ease the financial hit of prescription drugs prices for Medicare beneficiaries will cost taxpayers another $177 billion over 10 years, congressional budget experts said on Thursday. Whoopee. I wouldn't even blockade you. That's cute, Gerbil. That's cute. All right, so. The estimates from the Nonpartisan Congressional Budget Office could affect prospects for one of the administration's centerpiece proposals to make prescription drugs more affordable for patients. President Donald Trump and leading lawmakers of both parties want to act before the 2020 elections. Of course, because this would be one hell of a platform to stand on and one hell of a thing to say you accomplished in order to remain in your seat of power, so to speak. Under the Trump administration's proposed regulation, drug maker rebates now pay to insurance companies and their middlemen would instead go directly to seniors in Medicare's Part D program when they fill their prescriptions. Rebates are largely unseen part of the complex world of drug pricing. Drug makers pay the money in part to get favorable placement for their medications among the healthcare plans covered drugs. Insurers say rebates help keep premiums in check, But when patients go to fill their prescriptions, their copays are usually calculated based on the list price of the medications, not the discounted price after the rebates. Hey, memes of destruction, just going over some news, dude. This is what I do. This is what I do. Awarding the discounts directly to patients would reduce copays for many Medicare beneficiaries. But CBO concluded that drug companies are unlikely to lower list prices across the board in response to the administration plan. Instead, they would reimburse pharmacies for discounts provided to individual seniors as they fill their prescriptions. The budget office said the bottom line would be an increase in premiums, which are split between the government and seniors because the government subsidizes about 75% of the cost. That would add $170 billion to program spending from 2020 to 2029. Medicaid spending would also increase by $7 billion. Wow. Shit. Like we're not spending enough money. Like they're not spending enough of our money. Some beneficiaries would pay lower prices on their prescription drugs. And for some beneficiaries, those reductions would be greater than their premium increases, the CBO analysis said. For other beneficiaries, namely those who use few drugs or drugs without significant rebates, the premium would increase. The premium increase would outweigh the price reductions. I actually work a prescription discount place, not rebates, so our customer service tells people about them if they qualify. Oh, cool. There was no immediate reaction from the Trump administration. The rebate regulation is scheduled to take effect next year. It does not require direct congressional approval. However, congressional opposition could complicate things for the administration, of course. Leading House Democrats have been skeptical of the administration's approach, instead arguing that Medicare should negotiate prices directly with drug companies. Oh, okay. So now I'm going to take this, I'm going to copy this, and I'm going to see if I can find another news story. Crash helmets for 2029. All right, here we go. And I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do this. I'm going to see if I can find something to corroborate it. I did Market Watch. Okay, one's in the chat if you want me to open up the Fox Business link. 2 for Bradenton.com. And see, this is what I need. I like looking for financial newspapers for this shit. Because to me, they're a little more in the middle with their number crunching. But that is just me. All right, so we're going to go over here. We already have Market Watch. That one's already open. So we're going to open Fox Business. And I'm going to go to about the 4th page. Libertarian candidate. I'm trying to find a media outlet that just deals with the financial side. Because to me, when it comes to budgets and finances and shit like that, I tend to try and find more financially oriented, for lack of a better term, periodicals. So, yeah. AccessWdone.com. Okay, let me see here. Who are you? Because I've never heard of you before. AccessWdone. Okay, this is, you got it from the Associated Press. So, yeah, I'm clicking away. All right, here's Fox Business. Budget experts for Congress say the Trump administration plans to reduce out-of-pocket drug costs. Medicare beneficiaries will cost taxpayers another. All right, so far, this and this is more or less the same thing, except they don't mention the CBO specifically in Thursday until the 2nd sentence. The nonpartisan Congressional Budget Office analysis released on Thursday could affect prospects for one of the administration's centerpiece proposals to lower drug costs. If they could lower it, it'd be a big fucking deal. Boy, this is... Okay, they don't have any extra shit on here. I like this. It's nothing but it's just the facts, man. It's just the facts. Under the plan, drug maker rebates now paid reduce copay from any benefit company, okay, program costs, and increasing Medicaid spending. Okay, I want to start a petition to change the asteroid name from Apophis to select that one, and since that third one I found went, oh, we got this from the Associated Press. Like, I already read one Associated Press one. I don't want to read another one. I don't care how you reword it. You're being lazy. Inside healthpolicy.com. Shall we click on this and see what happens? Well, this is taking extremely long to load. I'm just gonna take a nap, y'all, because this is okay. No, you're taking way too long to load. Courthousenews.com. Okay, if I click on you, open you up in a different tab, and the first thing I say is Associated Press. You just okay. Here we go. Alexander Jones. Aha. I don't see how. Okay, I don't see this. I'll scroll all the way down. Nope. Okay, cool. The bandwidth thieves are attacking. It seems that way. Undercutting a promise from the Trump administration that the move will save taxpayers money. The nonpartisan Congressional Budget Office over the next 10 years to reduce how much benefit prescription. This, in one sentence, pretty much said what the other two sources said succinctly. They kind of nice, neat little bow there. And then let me see how they do all this. The Trump administration is set to roll out its new Medicare plan. Okay. Let me see here. Subsidized. Okay, there's the 75% from the first one. And this would lead to a Medicare spending in $170 billion increase. Okay, so that's across the board. So we're probably looking at increases if he gets his Medicare plan to go through. So that is the second story that I was covering, and I was able to look up more than one source for that. So we're going to do that one. Let's see. Who wants to listen about Gayle King and changes its struggling CBS this morning's evening? And CBS evening. Who wants to hear about the problems of news shows? As in, I guess they're having a hard time keeping their staff. Let's see here. And we have, here we go. Ooh, this seems a lot more interesting than that. So we're going to click that. And come back over here. And not click that because that is going to show you guys where I am. What the fuck? I will change. I will Phoebus. All right. Am I roboting still? Or did I clear up some? Might as well on the site. You're not going to let me read it otherwise, you greedy bastards. Who knows? Yeah, whatever. You people. Wee bit. I'm still roboting a wee bit? Okay. Not to you. Okay, so I'm fine to gerbil. Better than before. Okay. I'd be a y'all. Let's try that again then. And back up to snowball. All right. Is that any better? Where's that other one? Yeah, I'm not. Nope. We are most definitely not clicking on those coordinates. There we go. And we are hitting that. Sounds okay. Sounding okay. Good. All right, yeah, we're still on this because, they did not get the answer they wanted, so they're going to keep hammering it, keep hammering it, and keep hammering it. Until apparently they get the answer or the results that they want. I don't know how that works, but whatever. Does anybody want to come on with me? So far. Okay. How many people we got watching? 13. Wow. Oh, dropped to 12. Anybody want to? Gerbil, you can't talk. Okay, let's see this stupidity. Which is basically what it is. Yeah, I kind of figured you would be. We're going to be chatting about the contempt vote for Barr. Oh, Sora. How it works is I start basically reading the article, and if you have something to add or comment, yeah, you can say, "Oh, I got something I would like to say," and I go, "Oh, okay, here you go. What do you need?" There you are. There's the link. Out of the Associated Press, Democrats set contempt vote for Barr over Mueller report. House Judiciary Committee Chairman Gerald Nadler has scheduled a Wednesday vote to hold Attorney General William Barr in contempt of Congress, escalating the battle between Democrat-led House and President Donald Trump over Special Counsel Robert Mueller's report. Nadler is proposing to hold Barr in contempt after the Justice Department declined to provide the committee with a full, unredacted version of Special Counsel Mueller's report on Trump and Russia. The committee had given Barr until 9 a.m. Monday to comply. Already, we're starting with the idiocy. Yeah, I had to shove it. Yep, the link is there if you want to hop in. This is so dumb. Congress must see the full report and underlying evidence to determine how to best move forward with oversight legislation and other constitutional responsibilities, Nadler said in a statement Monday morning. Is it me? I just can't understand. I can't wrap my head around this. Is it me, or did all of them go full stupid in terms of fucking laws and legislation when Trump came into office? You cannot get a full unredacted Mueller report unless you have security clearance up the wazoo, because there's grand jury shit in there. For most of us that have seen the Mueller report, most of it is unredacted. And on top of that, the president could have, displayed his, use his privileges, but he didn't. He said, all right, let everything be seen for what it is, and let everybody draw their own conclusions as to what this report means. You cannot, under any circumstances, have they went full hunkler. Yeah. You cannot have a completely unredacted Mueller report. There is grand jury shit in there. God, these people are being stupid. The department has released to the public a redacted version, which Nadler said offered disturbing evidence and analysis that President Trump engaged in obstruction of justice at the highest level. Oh, these people are so demented. Yeah. He said Barr's failure to comply with a subpoena for the full report leaves us no choice but to indicate contempt proceedings. I don't think you're going to be able to find him in contempt of Congress, because he gave you what he could give you, which was most of the fucking report. Democrats said proceeding could be postponed if the Attorney General makes a good faith effort to comply with the committee. How? He cannot lawfully release an unredacted 448-page Mueller report. If I remember correctly, the numbers on the percentage redacted is less than 10%. So, I mean, come on now. No. You're going to shut up because I am going to put the subtitles on so everybody can read the captions. Annotations. Oh, and you're not going to give me captions. Oh, I hate you. You are not going to give me captions. Really? All right, I'm going to see. Yeah, it is. It's illegal. I'm going to see. Okay, that's turned up all the way, and this is turned up all the way. Because just the first 3 seconds of this bitch just cracked me up. Let me unplug my thing. All right. Here we go, y'all. Mouse. Here we go.
I think this White House has been the most combative since Nixon. I don't think that this president is following the existing precedents. The last president I know who actually pursued the claim that he would not respond, or his senior officials would not respond to House subpoenas was Nixon. This particular stance about refusing to honor subpoenas is very aggressive. Typically, these things happen every day up and down Pennsylvania Avenue. They're negotiated. Why? People don't want the American public to think that they are stonewalling, that they're not doing the business of the people. The weight is in favor of Congress's investigatory authority. Now, his argument will be, well, they don't need it anymore because we have the Mueller report. But his judgment is not the final judgment. We know that from United States versus Nixon. The Nixon case says the president cannot decide on his own. The court is the final arbiter of whether Congress needs this information or it's within its congressional constitutional authority.
All right. First of all, can you guys hear that okay now that I have moved the microphone right next to where the speaker is on this laptop? Because now I know I'm probably echoing all to hell and back. Okay. All right, cool. What do you guys think about them continually comparing what's going on in the Mueller report and Trump to Watergate and Nixon? Because I think it's absolutely absurd. As being AP, I'm going to break this up for, fair use purposes. Because I think it's absolutely absurd. No, it's definitely not the same thing.
So I don't see any legitimate ground for the executive to be pushing back against Mueller testimony. Again, it would be on to do that. They'd also be perhaps supported with this unitary executive theory that all members of the executive branch are under the president's authority, and therefore he can order him not to testify. Mueller's response to that, I would expect, would be simply to resign. My biggest fear is that if it were to go to court, and the court were to affirm Congress's authority, that the president would simply refuse. That would be a true constitutional crisis because, in fact, you would have one branch saying to the other branch, the courts, I'm not going to pay attention to you, in which case there is no way to resolve that. The only way to resolve it would be, in fact, impeachment under the Constitution.
Hey, Rhetorical, you want to hop on? I can give you the link to the Hangout. All right, so we've got this. It said the Justice Department spokeswoman said that officials were continuing to engage with the panel and that Nadler's staff had been invited to the department Wednesday to quote unquote discuss mutually acceptable accommodation. They should have added to that because we forgot how the law works. They're still trying to impeach him. And this is, everyone's working. Yeah, I know. No, it's like only to impeach him for what? Impeach him for what? Anything that he asked somebody to do and not to do during the whole fucking investigation, they didn't listen to him anyway. And besides, he can suggest people to do shit and not do shit. It doesn't mean he obstructed justice. It means he just wasn't happy with what the fuck was going on. I mean, for God's sakes, he got pissed off at Sessions when Sessions recused himself, which was the only course of action other than resigning that Sessions had, because he knew he was too close and too involved with the campaign in order to be able in good faith to help handle the investigation at hand. So, and Trump got pissed off because Sessions recused himself. I mean, Trump acted in a lot of cases, like a petulant child. Now they're sitting here, we want the full unredacted, we want the full unredacted, we want the full, you can't get it. Yeah, I think she's still kicking. Spokeswoman Carrie Kupik said the department had taken extraordinary steps to accommodate the House Judiciary Committee's request for information regarding Mueller's report, but that Nadler had not reciprocated. Less than 10% of that fucking report is redacted. What is the only things that are redacted is stuff pertaining to the grand jury and investigative procedures that are classified. Yeah, I saw that, and I saw the fact that they deleted the tweet. I thought that was fucking hilarious. Did you see that poll Dems did asking if people preferred RGB? Yeah, I saw that. And they deleted it because I think it was 39% for Ruth Bader Ginsburg and 61% for Kavanaugh. They didn't get the answer they wanted, so they deleted the tweet. But once it's on the internet, it's on the internet forever. Republicans have sharply criticized Democrats as they have battled Trump's administration over the Mueller report, even though I think it should be Mueller. Mueller. Subpoenaed multiple administration witnesses and made efforts to gain access to Trump's personal and business financial records. Trump has said he will fight all the subpoenas. I'm going to fight all of y'all. Because I looked this up, and I literally, this is in my triple play. 71%. Okay. See, this is in my Trump triple play if you guys watch that. If not, I'm going to pull up, because I think I still have the script on that. Because I don't think, let me see. Oh, please don't tell me that I know I didn't. View, left panel. Thank you. YouTube. There it is. All right, now we are going to unview the left panel and the note list down here. All right, according to RGB. Yeah, right. According to an excerpt that I found on Cornell Law, it says neither House of Congress possesses a general power of making inquiry into the private affairs of the citizen. That power actually possessed is limited to inquiries relating to matters of which the particular house has jurisdiction. So we're going to come back over here. Let me see. Subpoenaed multiple administration witnesses and made efforts to gain access to Trump's personal and business financial records. Trump has said he will fight all the subpoenas because he has grounds with which to fight them. You're going into his personal shit. His personal shit has nothing to do with the Mueller report. They're overstepping their bounds because in my opinion, they are seeing so much red in terms of them not wanting Trump in the power, in the office that he's in, that they are willing to break the fucking law themselves to find anything that'll allow them to point their fingers and go, see, we were right. He breaks the law. The fuck, people? Come on. The top Republican on Judiciary Committee, Republican Doug Collins of Georgia, said, Representative Doug Collins of Georgia said, Democrats have launched a proxy war smearing the Attorney General when their anger actually lies with the president. Yeah, TDS full speed, exactly. He said the upcoming vote is illogical and disingenuous as negotiations are underway with the Justice Department for access. While a contempt vote would send a message, it wouldn't force the Justice Department to hand over the report. Nor would it guarantee criminal charges against Barr. The full House would need to approve it, which would send a criminal referral to the U.S. Attorney for the District of Columbia, a Justice Department official who is likely to defend the Attorney General. Still, Democratic House leaders have signaled they will methodically take advantage of all legal steps available. They could also file a civil lawsuit against the Justice Department, an option they could take months or even years to resolve, wasting more taxpayer money. Some members of the committee have suggested they could also fine Barr as he withholds the information. They could also open impeachment proceedings against Trump, but House Speaker Nancy Pelosi has said she's not interested in doing that for now. Because I think you may finally be seeing that the more you guys cry impeachment, the more you have people walking away from your political party. They're sick of this bullshit. I'm sick of seeing it in the news feed, and I'm sure there are rational Democrats that are sick of seeing it in the news feed, sick of hearing about it, sick of hearing it come out of your damn mouth. It's been 2 years of nothing but wasted money and wasted resources to prove what? Absolutely jack shit. Yeah. Hashtag walk away. In a letter to Barr on Friday, Nadler said the committee will move to contempt proceedings and seek further legal recourse if the Justice Department did not comply with the panel's demands for the report. You can't legally comply with those demands. You cannot. There is some recent precedent for sitting attorney generals to be held in contempt of Congress. It happened in 2012 to then Attorney General Eric Holder, who was held in contempt by the Republican-led House over a botched gun tracking operation known as Fast and Furious. The Republicans cited the Justice Department's failure to turn over, without any preconditions, documents related to the risky operation. More than 100 Democrats boycotted the vote, and Holder described it as a politically motivated act in an election year. As expected, the Justice Department took no action to prosecute the Attorney General, even though the Attorney General did something illegal, because the Fast and Furious put the guns in the hands of drug dealers and gang members on the south of the border. As expected, let me see. Nice girl. Highlight goes by 2 fingers, bourbon. Big on walk away. Yeah. It's just, as expected, the Justice Department too. Okay. Democrats say they need to see Mueller's full report, including underlying materials like the interview transcripts. Congress demands CIA release real names and faces of Yeah, exactly, which they can't do. They can't do. Democrats say they need to see Mueller's full report, including underlying materials like interview transcripts, to conduct a complete review of Mueller's probe. In terms of underlying materials, Nadler said the committee wants to see witness interviews and items such as contemporaneous notes that are directly cited in the report. He also asked that all members of Congress be allowed to review an unredacted version. They can't review that. They don't have clearance for everything in that report. The Justice Department has made a less redacted version available for House and Senate leaders and some committee heads, but the Democrats have said that is not enough. Of course it's not. And have so far declined to read that version. So you have an even less redacted version than Joe Schmo does, but you refuse because no, it still has redactions. Really? In a 27-page document released Monday, the House Judiciary Panel says that Congress is, quote, the only body able to hold the president to account, unquote, since the Justice Department has a policy against indicting a sitting president. Otherwise, the president remains insulated from legal consequences and sits above the law, the committee wrote. Yes, they're showing that they will do anything, including breaking the law, to finger Trump on anything. Because at this point, they're grasping for straws. The Mueller report didn't come up with the answers that they wanted. Mueller said his probe established no criminal conspiracy between the Trump team and Russia, but did not reach a conclusion on obstruction. Mueller didn't charge Trump with obstruction, but wrote that he could not exonerate him either. Finger Trump, you say? They scheduled a hearing with a judiciary panel last week amid a dispute over how he would be questioned. Hours later, Pelosi said she believed the Attorney General had lied about his communications with Mueller in testimony last month, and that was a crime. Prove it, bitch. Prove it, bitch. Prove it, bitch. Let me see here. All right, so let's see here. Barr skipped a scheduled hearing with the Judiciary panel last week amid a dispute over how he would be questioned. Hours later, Pelosi said she believed the Attorney General had lied about his communications with Mueller in testimony last month. Hi, Wiki. And that was a crime. Kupek, the Justice Department spokesman, called Pelosi's accusation reckless, irresponsible, and false. She don't care. She doesn't give a shit by now. She's said a whole bunch of shit that is basically proven to anybody with a rational mind that she doesn't give a shit what the law is anymore in terms of a legislator. That anything that she can get Trump on, she's going, boy. I mean, As the fight with Barr has escalated, Democrats have been in negotiations to hear from Mueller himself. Trump complicated those negotiations Sunday when he tweeted that he would oppose Mueller's testimony. Of course you would. Bob Mueller should not testify, he tweeted. Trump had previously said he would leave the question to Barr, who has said he has no objection to Mueller testify. Like, I don't want Mueller to testify. What do you think, Barr? I don't care. He can do whatever he wants. Which I'm sure Trump doesn't like, but that's probably the gist of it. As long as Mueller remains a Justice Department employee, Trump or Barr could block him from testifying. Trump did not indicate if he would take steps to do so. It is unclear when Mueller will leave the department or whether he would want to testify in his own capacity when he does leave. Oh my God. This is interesting. I forget Trump just... Right? All right, what is this? This might be an op-ed. This is out of Axios. All right, so we're going to do this. We're going to do something schmancy, y'all. Because I'm going to come over here now that I'm finished doing this. I'm going to hit this. Hit this. And I'm going to hit this. All right, let's see what has just come over the wire. All right, here we go. Out of Axios, over 400 former prosecutors say Trump would be indicted if he weren't president. More than 400 former federal prosecutors have signed onto a statement asserting that if the Justice Department's official legal counsel did not prohibit a sitting president from being indicted, President Trump would be charged with obstruction of justice. Why it matters. Special counsel Robert Mueller laid out extensive evidence of possible obstruction by Trump in Volume 2 of his report, though he ultimately opted not to make a traditional prosecutorial judgment, in part because of the OLC opinion. And somebody outside is doing something and making noise. Attorney General Bill Barr's decision to clear Trump of obstruction has drawn the ire of many Democrats and former prosecutors who believe he is acting as the president's personal lawyer rather than the country's top law enforcement official. A prosecutor can indict a ham sandwich. Yeah, I know. The statement is signed by more than 20 former U.S. attorneys and more than 100 career Justice Department officials who worked in every administration dating back to President Eisenhower. It cites a number of episodes Mueller detailed in his report as acts that satisfy all the elements for an obstruction charge, meaning obstructive conduct and corrupt intent. Specifically, the prosecutors point to, rhetorical. A prosecutor can indict a ham sandwich. This is the same as arresting, with the only charge being resisting arrest. If there are no other charges, resisting arrest is bullshit. Yeah, true. The president's efforts to fire Mueller and falsely evidence about that effort. All right, we all know he wanted to fire Mueller. Was he successful? No. The president's efforts to limit the scope of Mueller's investigation to exclude his conduct. Okay, he wanted that done. Did it happen? No. The president's efforts to prevent witnesses from cooperating with investigators probing him and his campaign. Did it happen? No. Trump's obstruction salvation was his disobedient staff. That's fucking hilarious. That is fucking hilarious. That is just fucking... Okay. I'm going to click on that. And we're going to see what happens. All right, here we go. The Mueller report portrays President Trump as repeatedly trying to commit obstruction only to have his staff ignore him, saving him from himself. Oh, good fucking Lord. Why it matters? It doesn't, but you're going to go through the list anyway. Trump often acted like a bystander during the special counsel's investigation, venting his frustration on Twitter and with reporters. Because they keep trying to smear him for shit that you can't prove he did. Now it's hitting the whoa. Yeah. But a striking theme, y'all. It's not any kind of theme, it's a striking theme of the report is what an active player he was in the behind-the-scenes drama. Trump often tried to orchestrate outcomes, then found himself thwarted by a system that was beyond his direct control. Oh my fucking God. Mm-hmm. I don't want you to be a witness. I'm going to be a witness anyway. I want to fire Mueller. You can't fire Mueller. Okay, I won't fire Mueller. This is just, oh my God, the straws, man, the straws. By the time they get done, they're going to have a whole fucking pile. In early summer 2017, the report says the president called then Attorney General Jeff Sessions at home and again asked him to reverse his recusal from the Russia investigation. Sessions did not reverse his recusal. He wasn't going to. Recusal or resignation were his only two courses of action. The report lists a rat-a-tat examples. You're kidding. A journalist actually used the word rat-a-tat. Really? You used rat-a-tat. Examples of times that aides and advisors slow-walked or rebuffed Trump's suggestions and orders and insulating him from obstruction. Rat-a-tat. Wow. Rat-a-tat. Former FBI Jim Comey, who resigned, did not end the investigation of National Security Advisor Michael Flynn, in which ultimately resulted in Flynn's prosecution and conviction for lying to the FBI. Let Mueller testify. Trump should tweet about it, simply saying, "Phew, lad," and leave it alone. 2020 victory confirmed. Reminds me of the poem about Bonnie and Clyde, right? White House counsel Don McGahn did not tell the acting attorney general that the special counsel must be removed, but was instead prepared to resign over the president's order. Even if he told them, it's not up to him to remove. Oh my God. Corey Lewandowski and Rick Dearborn did not deliver the president's message to Sessions that he should confine the Russia investigation to future election meddling only. He had recused himself. There's no way he could have broadened the scope or narrowed the scope. He recused himself. And McGahn refused to recede from his collections about events surrounding the president's direction to have the special counsel removed, despite the president's multiple demands that he do so. He basically ignored the president. Okay. Here is a previously unknown episode with the sort of colorful detail that peppers the report. I love this. Just don't twerk. That would have the opposite, the desired effect. Let me read that line again, because that line is just absolutely in terms of laced with all sorts of, this is the way we want you to take a look at this, because this is really juicy. This is important. This is how guilty he is of obstructing justice. And you guys have really got to pay attention to this, because We're saying that this is, the detail is colorful and this peppers the report. So now we're reading the pepper because we need some pepper to balance out all this fucking salt. In early July 2017, the president asked Staff Secretary Rob Porter what he thought of Associate Attorney General Rachel Brand. Porter recalled that the president asked him if Brand was on the team. Contemporaneous notes taken by Porter show the president told Porter to keep in touch with your friend. Porter did not contact Brand because he was sensitive to the implications and did not want to be involved in an effort to end the investigations or fire the special counsel. That's the pepper, y'all. That's the pepper. That ain't enough pepper to balance out all the salt coming from the Democrats. By no means is it enough pepper to balance out the salt. This is just, ugh. I'm telling you, this is hard. This kind of stuff is what gives me a headache when I'm doing this, when I'm doing these news reports and stuff, because I got to sort through all this stuff to figure out what the facts are, what the spin is, and where their opinion starts and the facts stop. And sometimes they weave those facts in their opinions so skillfully that sometimes they're hard to catch. Sometimes. Not all the time. Sometimes. So now we know. Let's see here. That's NBC. I know they'll really catch me if I do that. Let me see here. Yeah, it's not MSNBC. PMSNBC. Premenstrual Syndrome NBC. Yep, there we go. PMSNBC. Let's see. Yeah, negotiate a case. Okay, this is pretty much the same thing as the other one, which means I took it from the main article. Okay, let's see what else we've got here. All right, here we go. View, left panel, view note list, because I got to come up here to the Morning Brew now. We rated that one. And another ceasefire with Israel. I don't know if we want to hear that or not. And here's the thing about Farrakhan and Milo Yiannopoulos that everybody already knows about, so there's really no sense in that. Let me see. Another body found at Illinois factory. I had to copy and paste that. Okay. Let's see. I covered YouTube losing maybe. Yeah, I saw that. I gotta go back and watch that stream because Saturday I was having a very busy day. Saturday I had to clean the apartment, take out the trash, do the laundry, go to the store. I got a ride to the store with Sarah Lee, so it was a really busy day. Yes, Saturday. Another body found at Illinois factory. Death toll reaches 3. Waukegan, Illinois. Search and recovery personnel found the body of another worker Sunday in the rubble of a northern Illinois silicone factory that exploded and burst into flames 2 days earlier, bringing the death toll to 3 employees, with one more body believed to be in the debris, a fire official said. Waukegan Fire Marshal Steve Lindsay told a news conference that the body was found as first responders resumed searching in hazardous conditions in the debris from the AB Specialty Silicones plant in Waukegan, about 50 miles north of Chicago. Cool. They were searching for the bodies of 2 of the 9 workers who were there when an explosion rocked the building Friday night and left it a shattered skeleton. It took recovery personnel 2 hours to bring out the body Sunday afternoon, Lindsay said in a statement. The search for the remaining body was called off Sunday evening and will resume on Monday, he said. Let me see. Of the 9 employees in the building at the time of the blast, 1 body was found early Saturday. 4 people were taken to the hospital, and 1 of those died later Saturday. The condition of the other 3 workers in the hospital was not immediately known, Lindsay said. The third confirmed death was the body located Sunday, with 1 other body still to be recovered. 2 other workers did not require treatment at the time. The cause of the explosion hasn't been determined, although Lindsay said It originated in the building where the silicone is produced. Most of the processes that they do are very non-hazardous. Silicone itself is not a hazardous substance. Lindsay said something this weekend went horrifically wrong. You think? You think? AB Specialty Silicones make specialty silicone chemical raw materials for products such as adhesives, sealants, and coatings. Lindsay said authorities have concluded that the explosion and fire were accidental. We are not looking at foul play. Lindsay said that from information they have gleaned in the preliminary investigation, some of the employees realized something was wrong and alerted the others to get out of the building just before the explosion. Lake County Coroner Howard Cooper said in his office that his office would perform autopsies Monday on at least 2 of the bodies and would announce the names of the victims and preliminary causes of death. Dental records would be used to identify at least one of the deceased, he said. So that is where we go there. Things you will not see me cover and things you will see me cover. I am not going to be doing any updates or report because everybody is pretty much on this. So I am not going to be doing any reports or updates of Notre Dame. I am not going to be doing. Oh, what was that other thing that I wasn't going to cover? Sri Lanka is being covered to death, so I am not going to do the Sri Lanka thing. All those things are. If I were to do Sri Lanka and Notre Dame, I would go back and pick up Christchurch, and I would do a documentary on all three at the same time, listing any concurrent, how would you put it, any similarities in the cases. And that would probably, I would probably need a lot of people to help me with that one, including Merlin. So that's a iffy, maybe not thing. I am tomorrow starting to do an outline and notes for a full documentary on the situation in Venezuela because I feel it needs to be covered. And after I do that it's going to be a long form documentary on Venezuela. Once I'm done with that one, I am going to turn my sights on South Africa and the situation down there and do another documentary on South Africa for the channel. In the meantime, I am going to be covering everyday news, everyday happenings, and things of that nature. If there is something that you want me to cover, please let me know by DMing me in Discord or any of the other places like Twitter and so forth. And I will be more than happy to look into it a little further. I'll put it down there. If you guys, just in case you guys don't know, I don't know if this is going to work like this or not. Yes, it is. That is the link to my geek channel that I am trying to get up and going. So far, it's got 55 subscribers. My House of Geek channel is all things geeky and nothing political. I'm keeping the politics off of that channel since all the politics and news and current events are on this one. You can also support me by going to Amazon and helping with my housewarming. I'm going to make sure that it shows up first via this wish list. Yay, all right, you didn't screw it up. All right, so if you guys want to shoot some housewarming gifts my way, I would more than appreciate that. Shoot the Discord out if you want. Okay, let me see if I get. Yes, I have the Discord up. I have the Discord up. Now I have to get it to scroll so I can actually get the invite. Come on, bastard. I know, I'm taxing out the memory. Give me a fucking break here. All right, here we go. And Order of the Holy Brew. Let's go. Come on. Open it up. Invite peoples. Copy invite. And here we go. And here we go. There's the Discord. Pulling up the Evernote again. If you don't want to do the whole wish list thing, you can give me some monetary housewarming assistance, and that is right there. I can't do Streamlabs on YouTube because Google still has not reinstated my major brand, which is tied to this YouTube account, which means no Streamlabs. That is why the PayPal ME link is passed out, which is why when I get my stuff, I am going back to Twitch because I can do the Streamlabs on Twitch. I can do the Nightbot on Twitch. I can't do the Nightbot here for the same reason that I can't do Streamlabs, because even no matter how much I yell at them, no matter how much I tell them to reinstate my major brand account, which is my MWM media account on Google and YouTube, they won't do it. So I have to resort to doing it this way. And yes, I am pissed off at you, YouTube and Google, especially Google, because I have proven to you time and time again that the reason that account was flagged was a bogus reason. An absolutely fucking absurd reason. But for some strange reason, you guys have not let it go yet. So screw you.
Did you write them a strongly worded email politely?
No, I tagged them on Twitter and yelled at them.
Well, that may have not been the best method to catch like bees. I don't know.
And
you
then
going for hornets?
You want to know why my brand account was flagged down?
What happened?
Prepare to laugh. It was flagged down under the guise of pornographic and sexually explicit content.
Oh, so it was safe for Pornhub.
Me, right. Me. Sexually explicit content.
Well, were you displaying graphic images that were not suitable for work?
Nope. I was doing my usual stuff, just uploading my videos, doing my blog posts.
Okay. Did you happen to be on camera?
Nope. Well, on some of the live streams I was.
Okay.
But I was fully clothed, not because I am not a booby streamer. So that's out of the question.
Okay, because I realize certain more well-endowed young ladies at times, while perfectly fine, were at times flagged for being inappropriate.
No, I don't. I do not flash my assets on cam, so to speak.
Oh, you're a better man than me.
I will show my face, but it's usually just above my breast. This is up, nothing any lower down.
I may have accidentally shown a crotch shot the other day because people were they're yo memes, you're wearing a full track. So I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm wearing dirty jeans. I'm like, I probably shouldn't point my camera towards my crotch. That's probably inappropriate.
No, I remember waking up. Well, I think this is definitely last year. Waking up one morning, starting up my computer and everything, going on Twitter, and scrolling down my timeline, and that was after the infamous Wizard sack shot from a live stream. Yeah. Wizard of Cause, I think, was on Prince of Queens live stream one day, and he got so fucking shit-faced that he literally took his sack out of his pants and showed it on cam on stream.
Well, that doesn't seem wise.
No, but wait, I'm scrolling down the timeline, I'm seeing this picture, and Ronan hears me go, whoa, that's one wizard's bag I never wanted to see.
Yeah. I think I talked with Wizard at one point at one of the freedom of speech things we had here in Concord, Massachusetts about a year ago. Like, was it Sargon the Proud Boys, Boston Free Speech, and some bunch of folks were there. I didn't actually recognize him. I think he was the dude without a jacket that looked pretty cold that I was about to offer my jacket to. I don't know. It's one of those things where I've only watched a couple of his videos before, and kind of like you said, it seemed like him and I think like Jeff Holiday were just kind of getting smashed. And I'm like, I don't really care.
Yeah. Well, it's like I said, I got up, turned on my computer, got my coffee, sat down, started scrolling down the timeline, and next thing Ronan hears was, whoa, that's one sack I didn't want to see.
Well, I think Saturday Sandy might actually have found the issue. Was he waving his wand around and casting Expelliarmus?
No, it was just a sack. Because
Well, I mean, just the coin purse there. I mean, I don't think I would prefer to see that at all. I mean, I'm sure there's other sites and platforms that would appreciate it more.
Yeah. To make it worse, Ronan was like, "What happened?" I said, "Oh, you don't want to know." He walked over to my computer and he went, "Oh, why'd you?" I said, "I didn't show you that. You leaned over and looked."
Yeah, I'm also seeing the don't forget butts out for Sargon. I mean, as a current smoker, I mean, I guess I can identify with that, although I do fear that's not what they're referring to.
Yeah, I know, right? uh, yeah, it's just I don't all the stuff that goes on. When everything started, when the drama started ramping up in between different groups on YouTube, I'm like, I am going to find a corner and go sit in it, and you guys can just claw at yourselves all you want, and I'll be over here, nice and quiet, minding my own business.
You weren't a big participator on blood sports?
No.
Yeah, I never really jumped into any of that stuff, even though I do love arguing about things, but I suppose I get my own version of blood sports often enough with different folks over on Mad Dodge's channel.
Yeah, but it's like I remember I've had a couple of friends that were involved in the whole thing, and I literally told one of them, and no, I'm not naming names, people, so don't ask because this is dead shit. And I told her, I said, "Look, I already gave you my advice. I already told you what I would do in the situation and what you need to do in the situation to diffuse it and let it calm down faster, and you refuse to do it. And I can't follow you where you want to go, and I can't, do anything that you're planning on doing. I'm just going to come over here."
How dare you take a principled position, Maddie? Don't you realize this is the internet, and Rule 14 of the internet states everyone loves a good dumpster fire.
I may watch it, but I will not partake. Thank you.
Yeah. There's a lot of toxic fumes that end up hurting you.
Yep. And it's like, there was a couple of things between the whole, then there was the Tonka and Andy thing that happened recently. And all I said was on Twitter, at least Andy showed up. And the next thing I know, I had somebody telling me in DMs that somebody had highlighted that tweet of mine on a stream and tried to say that meant I was on Andy's side. And I'm like, no, all I did was observe that he showed up. That doesn't mean I'm on his side. I'm just stating an observation. At least he showed up.
But you put an actual verifiable fact out there that seemed to slightly benefit an individual at that exact moment. Thereby, you are, I don't know, insert ad hom here.
Right? Everything has just gotten out of hand with all that. It's like just when you think that everything's calming down, it ramps all the way the fuck back up again, and you're like, "Can you guys just stop?"
Now, I have a real quick question. I realize I'm absolutely sidetracking everything like I often do. But one of the things when I kind of got introduced to this side of the internet and YouTubes and stuff is there were a lot of folks on this side of the internet saying, "Oh, you shouldn't care about a few mean words said about you on the internet." Fast forward about 2 years, and is it just me, or do a lot of these same folks that said that before now like, "Oh my God, can you believe the terrible things said about me on the internet?"
Yeah, I've noticed that. I've noticed that. It's sad, but I've noticed it.
All right, I just want to make sure I wasn't completely insane.
No, you are not.
Right, I'll accept a certain level of insanity, but okay, just verifying. Just want to make sure it's not just me.
Nope. And I mean, it's gotten to that point where, and if you just observing stuff, there's a lot of people that used to be, well, I am going to respond to this because there is no way that, this is going to be allowed to be said without being rebutted or refuted in one way or the other. And then you fast forward and it's like they're becoming the monster that they've been trying to fight, because first it was, no, we don't dox, no, we don't do this, no, we don't try and deplatform anybody. And the next thing you know, not all, hashtag not all, some of the people that used to say that are now saying, that we need to deplatform, that we need to dox these people, that we need to do A, B, and C. And I'm like, wow, there's a word for that. It starts with an H, ends with an E.
I didn't think we used that word anymore. I thought that was offensive after the SNL sketch about Pat.
You know, the whole,
the other one. Okay. I
yeah,
got you. I'm sorry. Too many words. I don't know that well enough.
the hypocrite thing, because people hate it when you call them a hypocrite.
Yeah.
Prove that I'm a hypocrite. Well, weren't you saying this 6 months ago?
Well,
Yeah, I was.
yeah. Well,
You know, now,
that's why it's so much easier to be like, I am a complete hypocrite. I absolutely realize that. I'll smoke a butt on cam while saying, don't smoke. That is very hypocritic. I accept that, as well as, oh my God, you don't want to become the monster. It's like, dude, I am a fucking monster. I'm a fucking half Jewish dragon. Leave me alone.
well, it's like somebody tried to tell me that I was being a hypocrite not too long ago because it was an argument between me and somebody who shall not be named because I said I would not mention this person's name anymore. Because I had told her that I had flagged 2 Twitter accounts, but the only reason that I had flagged them was because they were openly calling for a mass flagging campaign on someone's YouTube channel.
So
to the point where one of them in a tweet actually had a tutorial video on how to flag a video on YouTube.
Is that wrong?
I mean, it's targeted harassment, which is against their TOS. And what this person had done was flag somebody for calling her a name.
Well, was it an open and direct threat or call for violence or something like that? Or
No, he merely called her a fraudulent centrist.
Okay.
That's it. That's why his account was flagged.
That sounds like an opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Right.
Yeah. But I'm the hypocrite for flagging down 2 accounts that were openly calling for targeted harassment on somebody.
Well, one of the reasons why I was asking, like, is that good or is that right, is because I think a lot, and again, hashtag not all, I think a lot of the at least apparent or at least perceived discrepancy of seeing so many more conservative-ish types, more of rightish folks kind of getting banned versus leftish folks is because, at least for me, like when I watch like a Dr. Winter stream or Kevin Logan or something like that, many of the folks on there, they'll straight up say if I think somebody could potentially be violating the terms of service, I report that stuff right away. Basically, they're saying that this is how the game is played. Whereas I'll hop into like a chat with a lot more conservative or rightish folks, and I'll ask them like, so how many videos have you guys flagged and or people or channels or anything? And very often, not a single person says a damn thing. Like it almost seems like, because kind of more on this side, it's kind of viewed as more of a sin. It's not something you do, but you have the quote unquote other side saying, well, we're playing a game. This is how the game is played. If you don't choose not to play the game, you're going to disproportionately be affected. And I think that might answer or at least explain a lot of what's going on. What do you think, Maddie?
Well, I mean, I can see that, and I can see that, that kind of reasoning. But it's the way I look at it is, if all you're doing is insulting each other back and forth and just lobbing insults back and forth, okay, I'll let you be. I won't touch your account. I won't try to call your account to anybody's attention. I won't flag it or anything. However, if you are, on a particular social media platform and you're going, this person has this channel, he's over here, he doesn't agree with us, and we need to flag his channel down, and this is how you do it, because we have to get him deplatformed. That's when I go, okay, TOS violation, targeted harassment, this particular tweet, send.
We'll see there. You're playing the game.
Yeah.
And I think one of the things we run into a lot of times is if like I support somebody's ability to speak freely, absolutely. But at the same time, it's like, all right, just because you have the right to say something doesn't always mean you have to say it. And I almost feel like there are some folks out there that they're just like something pops into their head and they're like, well, I know I probably shouldn't say this, but my freedom of speech, and they just kind of do it anyway, and it creates a mimetic of. Let me just put it this way: if you took away all the 1488 and Nazi Pepe memes, like what is left? Like
Yeah.
how are you going to call somebody a Nazi if you don't see all the swastikas and shit going all over the place? At that point, you actually need to confront ideas, which is my thing that I think we should actually be focusing on, because that's actually how we move forward and actually get stuff and things done for the folks.
Oh my God, you're making sense. Oh,
I know it's very dangerous.
We can't do this in this political climate. We can't make sense and be logical. What's the matter with you?
Well, see, I think my thing is I was inoculated a long time ago, and oh my God, I was going to say in the galaxy far, far away, but now 18 years. Oh my God, 18 years this year. My former high school principal compared me to like Hitler.
Oh,
and
God.
I'm like, well, as a kid with at least half my family being of Jewish ancestry, so being compared to like Hitler wasn't the very nice thing. And I'll be straight up, I walked a very I was going down a pretty dark path for a while, but just every time, like, I just thought everything was shit, dude. It would just be like a single act of kindness or something like that that would just kind of bring me back. And just that's why I've come to the point where I believe most folks are good people, but just because you're a good person doesn't mean you don't do stupid shit.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's like I've gotten into one particular argument where this, I was having a discussion and it was very, it was a constructive discussion. And then somebody jumped in just to start making fun of me because I have my picture on, on my profile on Twitter, and they were calling me ugly and all this stuff. And so the first time they decided to do that whole string of insults, I responded with 12 years in high school being bullied and made fun of. You're going to have to do more than that. Yawn. 1 out of 10.
Oh, you have hardened life experience.
Yeah, every time they loved an insult, instead of ignoring them, I rated it. I know they were getting frustrated with me. I think the third time out, I went, that's a little cliche, a bit boring, and very unimaginative, frankly. 2 out of 10.
Well, this is why, like, on most of like my servers and like my site and everything like that, I try to have very minimal rules, because I'm a firm believer that folks don't like too many rules, and you just highlighted one of them. Like, my rules are: do not break the law, so you cover all the legal jargon there. Do not dox. Be willing to entertain an idea, and be a better troll. And you completely epitomize the be a better troll aspect.
I credit that to the 12 years that I was made fun of in high school, because literally, for those of you in the chat that aren't my age, I was called Chud in school, which is the name of a 1980s horror movie that is short for Cannibalistic Humanoid Underground Dweller. Yeah, I was called Chud and a bunch of other shit. So I figured after 12 years of that, there's nothing anybody can call me to make me go, "Aw."
Nick One says, half Jewish dragon sounds like a circumcision joke. Actually, I'm going to need to create some jokes about that. Gerbil13 says, toss a milkshake on this man. And I responded with strawberry blocks. He also said, all I do is hashtag don't be an idiot. See, I like that, but I have to go to the Red Foreman meme of don't be a dumbass.
Well, see, I think it's a pin. I had to pin this from somebody freaking out, and we found out that they were an SJW because somebody in my server was kind of picking on her, and she didn't realize it, and she got offended. And so I did a pin tweet because she kept telling me that, I needed to do something with him. Like, I can control other people. The only person I can control is me. And so what I put in my Discord server is, this is a no-filter, shit-posting, shitlord zone with gaming channels. This is not a gaming server with shitlord channels. There is a difference. If you can't handle crude jokes, off-color humor, and non-filtered speech, you know how to find another server. The fact I have to type this is sad.
Oh, so basically you have a shit Sunday with gaming sprinkles rather than like a gaming Sunday with shit sprinkles. There you go. It's clarified. And that's the thing. It's like YouTube. You don't want to have a misleading video. You don't want to misrepresent yourself. So as long as you represent yourself honestly, I think you're generally fine.
Yep. I mean, and that's one thing that I have always done is how you see me in videos, how you talk to me on live streams, what you see me post on Twitter and other social media platforms. That's me, because having two faces, and walking through life with two different ways of presenting yourself is too much fucking work, and sooner or later you forget which face you're presenting, so you wind up coming out looking disingenuous sooner or later.
It's too many lies to keep track of. I'm not smart enough to do that.
To me, it's just too tiring. I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna be this person here. I'm like, why don't you just be you 100% of the time? And if they like you, they like you. If they don't, screw them.
That sounds like a very progressive argument.
That's the way I've always lived my life. That's the way I told my son to live his life. I'm like, look, if you love you for who you are, what you do, what you wear, your pastimes and the friends, then screw people who walk up to you and make fun of you, because they don't matter. Because in the long term of things, I live by one motto: if you live your life trying to be what other people want you to be, the only thing you're going to do is lose yourself in the long run.
And that's the thing. We do each have our own unique life experience, but it's just like, yeah, I think folks should be able to be who they are and everything. And unfortunately, and this is another thing that I've noticed, especially on the side of YouTube and probably a fair bit of other places, a lot of folks say that when they're on air, they're playing a character. Or even some folks are like, they emphasize it or something. It's kind of like the whole kayfabe from pro wrestling and stuff.
Yeah.
And I've heard leftish folks say this. I've heard rightish folks say this. And I'm like, wait a second. So if you have somebody that's playing a character that's not necessarily 100% themselves on one side, and then you have another person playing a character not necessarily 100% themselves on the other side, and they're going at each other, and they're both playing characters, what are we getting for a data extrapolation for the rest of society? Is this why whenever I'd watch Bill O'Reilly back in the day, I just hear like 8 people screaming over each other and just change the channel and watch some Family Guy? Like, is this what's going on?
Yeah, I mean, oh my God. Because everybody, during the whole IBS thing, there were a bunch of people that were complaining about somebody's particular persona. And once again, I'm not going to name names, but everybody in the live chat probably knows what I'm talking about. And I said, you guys haven't figured this out already? And they went, figure what out? He's playing to the crowd.
Oh.
He's being a showman. He's playing to the crowd. He's entertaining the people that are watching his stream. That's not who he is. That is his showman's persona.
Is it a terrible thing that the same aspects that helped to make Gladiator a great movie are also the same aspects that helped get Donald Trump elected president of the United States?
Yeah. Yeah.
We live in an interesting world.
We do. I think one of the main things that allowed people to, well, I wouldn't say endear in the sense that they absolutely adore him no matter what, even though some people do. But what got everybody's attention drawn to Trump is the fact that whether he contradicted himself or not wasn't the issue. It was that he was doing the one thing all the politicians weren't doing, and that was speaking plainly. You asked him a question, he answered it.
Well, a lot of times people didn't like the answer.
A lot of times people, and there are times when, I see him tweet or I hear him say something and stuff, and my first reaction is, would you like some ketchup with the foot you just swallowed?
To be fair, it gives Steve Shives plenty of material for his Facepalm 5, just because the natural response, it's like, the president said what?
Yeah. What gets me is I'll have people on Twitter that'll criticize me because they see me criticizing AOC. But they for some strange reason, when I criticize Trump, they don't pay attention to that. So they will flat out go, well, all you do is criticize AOC. I haven't seen you call out Trump. And I had one person respond to that thread and go, you don't pay much attention to her timeline, do you? She will call him out. I will.
Well, here's the interesting thing. Well, you're screaming like millions of other people into the ether at President Trump. That's a very large pool of people yelling at and for the president. When it's more of an AOC thing, or maybe somebody talking about an AOC thing, you guys are probably intersecting at like the underlying tweet conversation and stuff there. So you run into each other more often there. So your perceptions are built that this person normally argues about these things, so they must believe this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just see. I think somebody needs to put together just kind of like a model of the internet, kind of like, you know how they had all those like books like Accounting for Dummies, or like the Internet for Dummies, or like all those like Windows for Dummies and stuff like. To be fair, my dad, and I think I actually used some of those books too, because they actually were really useful, like back when books were still like really a thing. But I feel like we just kind of need like 3D charts or something like this, just because we're all interacting in all these different ways, and we belong to a number of communities, and then other folks belong to other communities, and then you will only kind of I really believe, just because I've interacted with and creeped around enough corners of the internet, at least as far as I can see it now, to realize, all right, if I'm going to believe in statistical distributions and stuff and things like that, all I notice is in most every community, I see the same shit happening. You have a couple of leaders, you have your standard trolls, you have your folks that just want to burn everything down, you have your other folks that kind of just form different groups and cliques and then sub-factions and shit. And usually there's a big schism within the community at some point over a particular issue. Then they'll break off into their different bulletin boards or corners in the internet, but you'll still have crossover there. And I don't know. Am I just ranting into the ether again?
No, I mean, it makes sense, and yeah, it's observable behavior, which is funny because they all start. It's like the whole thing with the way back when, because all this drama and all this bullshit started with 2 words: skeptic, TM, community, TM. Nobody wanted to say they were a part of a community.
Oh, so what you're saying is I shouldn't have created a website known as the Skeptics Guild. Several, because dude, I like that, because as far as I know, wasn't Socrates a skeptic? Isn't the scientific method supposed to be a method of being skeptical and just making sure you can re-verify things? Like, I actually like that term. I don't care if Armored Skeptic owns the rights to that. I'm going to make that shit a fucking guild. I'm going to take us back in time to like back in the 90s, where rather than all like this social media and stuff, it's like, because we all know, like, discussing the major issues of the day with like 7 billion people in the world, 280 characters is more than enough. Fuck that shit. We got bulletin boards and shit. We got WordPress and stuff now.
Yeah. I mean, it just, what got me was you couldn't say community because some people would get absolutely fucking, not triggered, but you would just hear them groan.
Oh,
and
because,
it's like,
because they don't want to be a collective of individualists.
Yeah, it's like, somebody had asked me during that whole thing about the community, and I was like, what do you think? I said, whether they want to believe it or not, whether they want to admit it or not, if you are part of a collective group of people with a different idea than everybody else, who interacts with the same group of people on and off on a regular basis, who support one another, who talk to one another, who are there if you just need to vent to somebody because, you're interacting with them on a regular basis. What do you call that? A community.
Yeah, I don't like that words, because as soon as you give us a label of a community, then if somebody says something not nice, then they might be talking about me.
Yeah. Then there was, well, it isn't a community as it is more of a genre. No, genre is a thing. Community is also a thing, but it is comprised of people. It's like, oh, Jesus.
One of the greatest like comments I've ever seen about this was when Sargon was like, oh, we need to do things. So he's like, I'm creating an organization. And he's like, we believe in liberal principles. I shall name the Liberalist.
Right.
And to be fair, like I could have been like, dude, you said you were willing to change it. You didn't have a better option come up with suggestions, or was this a pride thing you didn't want to have to change it, or you had already registered the website, or like. But I understand the concept of the whole wanting to do thing, and hey, power to the guy. I say this is somebody that's more or less kind of conceptualizing. I can't really think of any other words other than like a hit video on Sargon right now. I'll be straight up. I still need to message him to give him a heads up. I couldn't figure out my Mind's chat password, so I guess I'll have to use his old email address. But the thing is, he starts off, and at times it's like, all right, you're talking about like gathering together and stuff. Oh, wait, I was talking about vernaculus. Sorry, take one step back to actually continue forward. So vernaculus, under that, he wrote a comment where it's like, yes, we are all individuals, but we are individuals that are members of communities within communities that intersect with other communities. And he had this big, huge, long thing. At the very end, he's like, none of this shit actually freaking matters. He's just like, it kind of like the let it burn attitude. And I saw so many hundreds of like likes on that. I'm like, I don't like this. I agree with like 99.9% of the message, but I'm like, no, dude, we can figure this shit out.
Yeah.
Yeah. I digress.
Well, that's interesting. I stopped smoking sometime in April, and I'm still having the residuals from my bronchitis. That's going to take a while.
It's all right. It gets better right here. The human body can actually heal. And I think we're up on the 5 o'clock hour. I'm not sure. I had popped in about 30 minutes ago and kind of semi-hijacked the broadcast. My apologies.
Oh, that's okay. This, for those of you that have never heard this guy on my channel before, this is his first time on my channel. This is the Means of Destruction. Put your name out there under live chat so you can go and, peruse your channel if they so wish. Yep, there he be over there waving at everybody. For the first hour and a half, there was the news, and then we BS for half an hour, and now I got to get off this thing because we've been at it for 2 hours, and I have to start walking around and seeing what I'm going to do for dinner. Haha. So I don't know if I'm going to start doing these kind of streams regularly or just do these sporadically until I get the memory that I need. So be on the lookout for that, guys. Until next time, I will catch you guys later.
Peace out.